Welcome to the hotline for today, Friday, the 13th of January, 2023. But it's going to be a good day. So good to have you. We know you have choices. We're happy when you come here. Even happier when you find reasons to stay. We have a lot to get through. So let's get to it. This is the hotline. Thank you, listeners. You may recall that some months ago, former Prime Minister, the Honorable P.J. Patterson, wrote an open letter to Prime Minister Andrew Holness and the opposition leader Mark Golding, encouraging them, beseeching them to ensure that in the 60th year of our political independence, that steps be taken to cause Jamaica to make a move to becoming a republic and to move away from the monarchy and the King of England now being the head of state of Jamaica and moving to declaring herself a republic. And that article, coined after great study, as we've come to expect from former Prime Minister Patterson, both in speech and in the written word. The former Prime Minister set out what he thought was important. I write to you, as our Prime Minister and leader of the opposition who have the political authority and the opportunity to capture a truly historic landmark by the establishment of Jamaica as a republic within the Commonwealth and simultaneously repatriate our constitution during the 60th anniversary of our independence. In fact, that letter was written, he had something, there have been, I suppose, a series of matters, but this one came shortly after the move by Barbados. And Mr. Patterson highlighted for some time that before Jamaica entered the 40th year of independence, the country had been engaged in a lot of discussions and consultations about moving towards a republic. And he said, since then, the political parties you both lead, they've repeatedly accepted the institution of our indigenous president as head of state. And this has been reflected in the various manifestos of the two major political parties that have governed Jamaica since we gained political independence. So I think there seems to be certainly cross-party sort of consensus on one crucial thing, subject to the manner and the form required by the Constitution. And the one crucial thing is that we should commence this step to becoming a republic. As listeners already know, Andrew Holness named a Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs in the person of Marlene Malahoo Fort. And she assumed that position approximately 1 year now. 1 year in the life of a ministry, in my view, is not a very long time, especially with the type of work that is necessary. But we've had from Minister Malahoo Fort at least 2 or 3 major statements in the Parliament in outline of the focus of her ministry, in outline of how she intends to carry out the functions which have been bestowed on her ministry to lead, but not to command. And she informed us that she was going to appoint a constitutional committee at some time. Now, when she went to the House on Tuesday of this week, the 10th of January, she told us a number of things, including that she could not name the Constitutional Reform Committee members because of a position taken by the leader of the opposition, Mark Golding. And I'm going to let you hear what the minister said she wished the committee to focus on, and let you hear a press conference that Mark Golding convened yesterday, and to ask you whether you don't think somebody needs to speak with Mark Golding and to tell him that he needs to really check himself. Because based on the stance that Mark Golding is taking at the moment, the nearest we're going to come to some republicanism is probably our distance to Barbados. Because what Mark Golding wants is the twinning of the movement away from the monarchy into a republic, into also moving away from the Privy Council into the CCJ, and he's having no discussions about it, meaning, as far as I understand, although I'm of the view that the CCJ has proven itself and it is almost a no-brainer that is where we need to go, it has been the case in the dialogue that has taken place in this country that there has not been a cross-party agreement on this particular issue. The JLP, when Bruce Golding was Prime Minister, as far as I recall, they mouthed the possibility of a final appellate court housed in Jamaica. Some factions of the JLP mouth a final appellate court being the CCJ. Some of them silently talk of remaining with the Privy Council. So the thing is that you have a tripartite, non-consensus position. And for the leader of the opposition to be declaring now that the only way he's going to name members to the committee, well, he seems to be saying a couple of things and you can listen. One is, if when we go for the concept of a republic, the idea of moving away from the Privy Council must be considered at the same time. And then he tells us that the government is talking about constitutional reform and looking at the charter, and he wants precise details on what the government intends to do before he names members of the opposition to the committee, even though the committee is to be named to provide guidance on whether any tweaking is necessary of any portion of the Constitution to include the charter. And I get the distinct impression, I may be wrong, but I look at movements in the parliament, I read what people have written, including what the former Prime Minister, the Honorable P.J. Patterson, wrote, and nowhere in what he wrote did I get the idea that to commence the process of decolonization and moving away from the monarchy, must there be a twinning of republicanism to the CCJ? Because if we start there, we never go start. And this concept of the constant opposing for little or no good reasons and being completely pedantic, in my view, we will not accomplish anything at all. But here's Marlene Malahou Fort in what she said. She intended the committee. And let me tell you, Mark Golding raised in the Parliament on Tuesday that he wrote to Marlene Malahou Fort sometime in June, I think, of last year. And having written to her in June, he never had the courtesy of a reply. He wrote to her in July. After July, he admitted that they spoke and she provided some answers to some of the issues that he raised in the letter. But his big issue is that she did not write back to him. And she said, I agree I didn't write back to you, but I gave you those answers orally, one. And two, some of the questions that you ask, I have addressed them in presentations I've made to the Parliament, and I have gone further. So Hansard is there as a record to which you can have recourse. Mark you, I will say to the minister, it is only proper if a letter is written to you, particularly in the kind of atmosphere that we see in our Parliament. Even if you talk to the person, write back to the person. Get your assistant to transcribe what you say in the parliamentary proceedings, transcribe what you put in the what is in Hansard, and write back to him. But this idea that somehow, and I get the distinct impression from Mark Golding, that if he doesn't get what he wants, he's not prepared to engage. And if this is the stance of Mark Golding, then we need to know whether it's Mark Golding's stance simpliciter or whether he's speaking for the full cohort of the opposition, because increasingly what is happening is that he takes over almost every portfolio. He's talking on every issue. You barely can hear the voices. When the voices speak, he has to top and tail them. It's the same problem Bruce Golding had, you know. You couldn't distinguish who was speaking for whom because he had an overarching power at one point in time. And not until people started seeing individuals speak in their capacity and know that there are people on the team with sense did people come to appreciate that this is not a one-man band. And the one-man band is becoming unnecessarily antagonistic. And if you don't get the highly prem where you want, you're going to pick up your marbles. This is Jamaica we're dealing with, you know, Mr. Golding. This is Jamaica. But let's hear what Malahou Fort said, and let's hear what Mark Golding said at that press conference.
Will recall that I made a statement on November 15, 2022, updating this Honourable House and the people of Jamaica on the constitutional reform work undertaken over the years, the matters on which bipartisan and broad consensus was reached, what was implemented, and what remains to be done. Madam Speaker, I promised then that a high-level constitutional reform committee would be established to facilitate consultation, collaboration, exchange of perspectives, and to provide advice on the remaining work to be done, as well as the sequential steps to be taken towards further implementation of the recommendations of the Joint Select Committee on Constitutional and Electoral Reform, on which consensus remains. This statement, Madam Speaker, is intended to provide the Honourable House and the people of Jamaica an overview of the work to be undertaken by the Constitutional Reform Committee, including indicative timelines. Madam Speaker, the purpose of the high-level Constitutional Reform Committee is to assist in providing expert guidance and oversight to the government and people of Jamaica during the constitutional reform process to implement recommendations on which consensus has been reached. And also, Madam Speaker, to help to build consensus where it has eroded or is non-existent on important related matters. In particular, the committee will be required to assess how the passage of time has impacted the recommendations of the Joint Select Committee on Constitutional and Electoral Reform contained in its final report in 1995, which recommendations were submitted to and approved by the Parliament, and to advise what fresh perspectives ought to be considered in the light of any national, regional, or international development between then and now, and to recommend any necessary modification to update the recommendations for implementation. Madam Speaker, the committee will also be required to evaluate the said recommendations on the establishment of the Office of President and advise on the nature of the presidency, the qualification and tenure of the President, the legislative, executive, or ceremonial powers to be exercised by the President. Committee will also assist in coordinating the required parliamentary cross-aisles and nationwide consultation and collaboration during the various phases of the reform work, and in particular to help educate the electorate on their role in the referendum process in order to successfully transition from a constitutional monarchy to a republic, and to deal with related matters for which referendum is required. Committee will generally agree on the sequence of steps to be taken to implement the recommendations, as well as any other recommendation that is required to be implemented in order to achieve the overall reform goal.
So, we got an idea from the minister on the role of the Constitutional Reform Committee. Part of which, as you heard at the end there, is to agree on the sequence of steps to be taken. And that is crucial. So there's no position, as I understand at the moment, that things must go 1, 2, 3. All of the matters go before the committee. The committee would look, make its assessment based on the deeply entrenched provisions, what will require some sort of referendum, perhaps the cost of it, how the questions will be framed, the public education that's going to be involved, the time periods, and all of those things. You go there, you flesh it out. But here's Mark Golding. He spoke in the Parliament, as I said to you. Part of his big issue was that he didn't receive a letter in writing, something in writing, in response to his letter. And I say to the minister, there's little or no excuse for that now. I certainly have heard the presentations you made in Parliament because I listen to Parliament. I don't listen to headlines. But write back, especially when somebody is going to be so pedantic about such a crucial matter. Write back. But the degree of specificity that Mark Golding is desiring, it is inexplicable. It's like you're saying to somebody, you're going to a meeting, I'm only going to talk about ABC, and if you bring D into it, it can't work. But let's hear Mark Golding at the press conference that he had, because some things he said in Parliament, it's a bit different in slight difference in what he said in the press conference yesterday. But let's hear him at the press conference.
As a result, together with the enormous costs of fighting litigation in the UK in terms of travel there, accommodation there, and the costs of UK solicitors, who are the Privy Council agents there. Very few appeals are currently going each year to the Privy Council from Jamaica. That is reflective of two things. First of all, it is denying the people of Jamaica, especially the ordinary Jamaican citizen, his or her right to have due process and access justice at the highest level when they have a matter which they feel ought to be tested before a final court of appeal. It also is stymieing the development of our legal profession, because our legal profession, for the most part, is unable to have an active practice which involves regularly appearing before our final court of appeal. The Caribbean Court of Justice, on the other hand, has the power to move from island to hear appeals. Indeed, when Shanique Myrie was denied access to Barbados and took her matter to the CCJ, under the Treaty of Chaguaramas, the court came to Jamaica to hear the evidence. And we know Shanique Myrie got justice, including a payment from Barbados to compensate her for the wrong that was done. So, in addition to that, the CCJ uses audiovisual communication technology as a standard part of its operating practice. So you don't have to travel there for many of the processes before the court. You can do it from your home jurisdiction. We are saying, let us decolonize once and for all the legislation to move away from the Privy Council and to adopt the CCJ has been developed. It was developed under my watch when I was Minister of Justice and tabled. It was passed in the House of Representatives at the time, but the opposition at that time didn't see fit to support it in the Senate, and it couldn't pass without their support. So that legislation exists and can be dusted off and tabled again, and we can move forward in a bipartisan way on both issues, ensuring that Jamaica has a Jamaican head of state, somebody from our country as our top member of the executive, and ensuring that our final court is an institution that serves our region, that we help to finance, that we help to design as Jamaicans, and that has achieved a reputation for excellence. The government has indicated...
So, we're coming back to that. This is not right. Mr. Golding accepted in what he just said. This is the sort of one-upmanship business, you see, that's going to get us nowhere very fast. He's telling us the legislation is there. I brought it and it was defeated by you. It was defeated because there was no consensus in relation to the CCJ at the time. But what is he saying? Dust it off and bring it back. Never mind that there was no consensus and there probably is still no consensus. But the only way you should go, I will name members to the committee, is if this matter around which there is no consensus is considered in the whole process of decolonization. Whilst we move the king as head of state, we have to twin it with the CCJ. And because of that, he's saying, no game until that is done. And then he tells us in relation to the the charter, and the proposed review that is going to take place by the committee, he tells us it was amended in 2011. So there's no need, or if you're going to amend it, tell me exactly what you're going to look at. If something is not fundamentally wrong with this position taken by Mark Golding, I do not know what is. And I would be shocked, absolutely surprised, if a large member of the opposition team is in agreement with this position, because it defies logic. This matter concerning the final court is a matter that has to be considered within the whole constitutional reform agenda, you know. But what I hear the minister saying, yes, it is going to be considered. The committee has to consider it. The committee has to advise the timeline for it. But the one thing we're sure about, on which we have consensus, is the movement away from the monarchy. And the consensus is such that we need to go to the people because we don't know what the people will decide. And why we have to go to the people in unison is because if we go split down the political line, it is going to end up like the 1961 Federation referendum. I would really love to hear from former Prime Minister Pattison if this is what he intended in the letter that he wrote. Something is not right. You know, as I watch the Parliament, we have to go. There's a lot more, but we have to go. Perhaps during the course of the program, I will play the things in full so you can hear the full context and see if you have a different conclusion from the one I have. As I watch the movements in the Parliament, it's amazing that Philip Paulwell, Tony Hilton are coming out as more amenable to being non-antagonistic, so long as antagonism is not necessary. But what I find is that sometimes Mark Golding is training to be antagonistic for no good reason, or the reason is not clear when he says it. And unless I'm missing something, this is a classic case of it in my view. The very committee that you're supposed to name people to will be looking at the things that you are now holding up naming members of the opposition to because you want X thing to happen, and if X thing doesn't happen, you're not going to name your people. Something is not right. Thank you, listeners. We're back with you on the hotline. 876-926-2178, 926-8631, 926-7615, and 1-8888-991-2080. Come to your calls as the fraud squad doing this massive probe along with the FID. What is going on in this country in the financial sector, though? It is inexplicable. Where are the checks and balances in these systems? Oh, you can have millions, near billions of dollars unaccounted for in entities like these. Listed companies, you know. Listed companies. Companies that must have audited financial statements, companies that must have insurance, companies that's supposed to have different layers. They're running like a handcart man on the street now, where anybody can come in and pick up change and nobody to double check to say if somebody get the right change. We need to get more on this. We're watching it. The matter with the Stocks and Securities Limited. We'll give you some information soon. This is the hotline. Hello.
Good morning, Mrs. Shield.
How are you?
Well, thank God. Happy New Year to you and all the staff of our year.
And to you, sir. Who is this?
God bless the cheerful giver. Herbert Harding.
Yes, Mr. Harding. Good to have you.
Yes. Mrs. Shield, how many name was on the list and I never hear call me name at all for the Christmas dinner?
Your name was on the list?
Yes, ma'am. I was the first man Daniel call and get my number. He even called me back later on. He didn't have me for his name Cardell.
This is a gentleman from. You're from what by
Yes,
Ligani?
Just below the cancer home.
Where is that?
The cancer home in Papi in here, ma'am.
Okay, yes, you did. Yes.
You to Bedrock Garden.
Yes, no, you did tell me that you were gonna be there, and I said to you.
No, I said if you could leave it at the first date, and I will come for it. and then, that I never have any, but you care me, I'm a blind person,
Yes, I remember you saying that you're blind, and I said to you the thing was going to be in the yard and we could see what will be worked out. Well, all right. All right. Let me just have us do a check on that, because what we really intended wasn't to do any delivery of anything that time around. So yours was going to be a sort of special case we're going to try and work out. But let's see what we can do, Mr. Hardy. All right.
So I must hold on and
yes.
give the name?
Yes, please do that.
Okay, ma'am.
All right. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. We're up on a break. Thank you, listeners. We're back with you on the hotline. We don't have the cats and dogs today, did he? No, the pet's not talking today. Not interested in talking to us. Oh dear. So, let's move on to talking with the higher animals. 8631, hello.
Good morning, Mrs. Shields.
Hi, how are you?
Long time I haven't spoken to you. Happy New Year, Miss Shields.
Thank you. To whom do I speak?
You're talking to Marcia and Islington St. Mary.
All right, Miss Marcia. Good. This is Miss Emily. Eh?
Miss Emily.
Is you call me Miss Emily?
Miss Emily.
Yes, sir. How are you, Miss Marcia?
I'll give a chance, Miss Emily.
Good. And everything all right? You start off the new year well?
Yes, Miss Emily.
Yes.
I'm blessed of walking shop too.
Yes.
Yes.
Tell me what's going on.
You two have a blessed day, Miss Emily.
Okay, that's a lovely call.
And I like your speech this morning.
Okay.
Well said, Miss Emily.
You've been watching the things in the parliament or not?
No, but I'm really listening and watching, Miss Emily.
Yes.
But I like what you said this morning. Well said.
All right. Thank you for the call. Take care.
Okay, you're welcome, Miss Emily. Have a blessed day now.
You too. Take care. 7615, hello.
Hello, morning.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
Not too bad. Who is this? A Crooks?
Easy. Yeah, man. Certainly.
Junior Crooks?
Yes, certainly. Junior right here.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want to have a little talk about that affair at the children's home, you think?
Yes.
But before I do that, I want to disagree with you regarding the justice person there when they say you're unable, so you're not right in like you're calling a person or whatever. I understand? You were saying that we have a right to in certain forum or context that you can go ahead and say, but I am saying to you, under no circumstance, you might get away with it by calling them violence producer, but it's still not right. You understand? In the same way, you can't call a man thief until him proven or murderer,
So what you call? What do you say? Alleged?
Yeah, you have to do that.
No, but you heard me say that. You heard me say that. Didn't you hear me say that the media in particular must get back to the matter of saying alleged, because when we report something as is, people take it for gospel.
Actually, we're giving him a pass to find a convenient way to go on it and say violence.
No, Junior, it was two-pronged. Two-pronged in that one, as I said, I think the extrajudicial comments of the Chief Justice.
Anyway.
No, don't move on. You don't go anywhere when you raise something so fundamental.
All right. I must have misinterpreted you.
And I wish to correct the misinterpretation because others might have it. In the first place, I'm saying the fact that the Chief Justice says that there is no such designation in law, it doesn't mean that everybody who has said it must automatically stop saying it, because until this thing is actually tested in court, what the Chief Justice says out of court is just that, an out-of-court statement. That's one. Two, even with that principle being first principle, we must all get to the fact of understanding the concept of presumption of innocence, which means when we make a report or give a report in media or whatever, we need to say alleged, because nothing is sure until it is proven.
Very well. I said that then because I realized that I was misinterpreting you then. So we are at one with that. We're not at. Okay.
Brilliant.
So now, I am saying, with regards to Mrs. Gates Grace,
yes,
my position is that she should stand her ground. And you know why?
What do you mean by stand her ground?
Stand her ground, in terms of like, don't go nowhere. But with the lady, what's his name? This Gabriel Williams.
Yes.
Is speaking to tell her that she should stand down for that time. If she want to do that, write her a letter and send her a command. But until and unless you do that, I suggest that the lady stand her ground. If you Gabriel Williams, she herself is panicking. And you see how she be erratic in the parliament because
you cannot call Favour and erratic in the same sentence and be plausible.
Right, because you never say her that way, because everybody saying they never know that she could have raised her voice above certain decibel then. And you see, a panic because she herself, some of the responsibility, she know that trying to deflect off some of her responsibility.
No, tell me where's the evidence for that. Before you make the conclusion, give me the evidence where she's trying to deflect.
Say again?
Give me the evidence from your position where she's trying to deflect from her.
Yeah, because she panic because she knows that if there's even a little loan voice, she's gonna tell her that the box up with her too. So she is derelicting some of fair duty.
Listen, Junior. I don't want people to misunderstand when I talk.
Yeah.
And I think obviously inherent in what you're saying, because I said the minister, I don't think it's right that she made the call she did because it's not up her alley.
Right. So
but hold on. Let me just finish this and I'll let you come in because it's your money call and you want to talk. But
no problem.
What the minister outlined in the parliament was a sequence of events where she was feverishly asking for updates on that particular matter. At the various meetings that were had, in the months that were convened, the only person who could account to her was the CEO of the CPFSA.
But don't go no further. Let me get this for now.
Yes.
So therefore, you can't expect the minister to come and micromanage everything. You have to depend on others, don't it?
Absolutely.
So why is it that you're asking Gates to micromanage every little aspect of every little thing?
The answer is clear. The answer is clear. The minister's role is in directing policy of agencies that fall under her, and the CPFSA happens to be one. The minister came into knowledge on the suspension of the license of this Robansky man. Having learnt of it and the specific vulnerabilities of the children, she made some requests of the CEO, who had the responsibility day to day to do some things. In all of the meetings that were had, she said some of them were recorded because they were on Zoom. The representation was made to her that yes, links were severed with this particular man and this particular action was taken on this day, only to now learn that whatever representations were made to her and on which she relied, the children's advocate is now saying that her finding is that it is not so. So I completely disagree with any attempt to say that the minister didn't do what the minister reasonably could have and should have done.
Fine. All right. I'm not gonna really. First of all, let me just say,
push back with your argument. How you come to the conclusion where you come? Tell me.
Hold on. Let me say this. I'm not holding any brief for Ms. Gates River. In this case, any baggies.
And it's not a good thing to mention brief now.
That's why I'm saying in this case, any baggies as it relates because a woman we're talking about. So I'm not holding any brief. But I can see. I don't want to demonize her in a way because guess what? you see, if we look into it, as more evidence become available, you see, I can see where she's like a baby, you know. All of a sudden, she see everything has come down. When she goes her way, she try to manage. First of all, the minister them probably not even gearing enough resources to do her thing. So she goes her way and she tries to say, in fact, probably she think that she should be receiving accolades instead of being demonized. Because put her way where No, let me explain. Don't laugh. I love you laugh still enough. No. But let me finish first. And then
make you laugh anytime, because you're talking rubbish.
Alright, cool. You know why? Because she said she has set up a thing where there are little department where she's responsible.
Yeah.
And short of funding, short to try to do little things to see where they can reward and where the scholarships are set up. Me not say the man, listen, me not talk about what the man don't know to me.
But how can you separate the two, Junior? How can you separate them? If I get the argument that the funding may have been short.
No, that's why I shouldn't laugh so quick.
Go ahead.
I say to you, in a fear of mine, see not justify nobody irresponsible behavior, you know. In a fear of mine, at the end of the day, take a look up and say, boy, after you get no funding and no this, and she said, what thing where people can get classes, she reward, by people can get little trips and those things going about. People that say, boy, this lady really go out her way to try to make this thing work and seem to. You get the point I'm making?
No, I don't get the point. I don't get the point.
Thing and I try to find out who are going to do some things out of the way, and them little things.
No, Junior.
I'm concerned with it. It's trying to do a thing which she don't get the resource.
No, stop rubbish.
No.
Hold on.
All right, go on.
The funding that CPS-FSA got in 2021-22 was $3 billion. The actual spend in the years before was 2-point-something billion, because I pulled up the estimates of expenditure.
Depending on what you need to do, I understand. So the whatever figure it is, Miss Emily, whatever figure it is, it can be relative.
Beautiful argument. Beautiful. So it can be the case, because even when I spoke to Mustard Seed yesterday, that what is required versus what is given, they are very far apart.
Right.
But you must not raise defense that Rosalie Gage Gray herself did not raise when confronted by the children's advocate with some of these potential adverse findings. Never once did she say, or did I find in this report where she said, I needed funding.
Well, maybe she didn't, but I'm saying...
No, stop.
Right.
This is where you put yourself into fallacy and become contortionist.
Right.
She's a bright woman.
Uh-huh.
When the difficult situations were put to her, what she said is, from the account of the OCA, there was no criminal conviction or something of the sort. And it completely cause certainly my brows to raise, because don't forget what the overall mandate of the CPFSA is, which is protection.
That's right. Right, but so I'm not really touch that. Because if we can touch that and say, we can be hypocrites, because we feel like the person, because remember, he presented himself in a cloak, you understand?
No, but he was uncloaked. He was uncloaked by the U.S. authorities,
He was uncloaked at that time. It's not a normal thing at them time.
No. His engagement with Jamaica commenced before his transgression overseas was realized, and his engagement continued even after his transgression was disclosed, which is the problem. But thank you, Junior Crooks. Gotta go. Headlines time. Thank you, listeners. We're back with you on the hotline. So I see a release from the Financial Services Commission, where it says that the FSC is aware of reports of allegations of fraud at one of its licensees, Stocks and Securities Limited. The FSC has issued directions to SSL. These directions, which were dispatched to the company Thursday, 12th January 2023, are a supervisory tool to allow the FSC to engage an entity in a process of enhanced oversight. In the case of SSL, this enhanced oversight reflects the need for the FSC to have full view of the integrity of the transactions being conducted, including the movement of funds and of securities into and out of SSL. Under the directions, SSL can still conduct business on behalf of its clients, but with the oversight and approval of the FSC. FSC will simultaneously continue its investigation into matters related to SSL. So I spoke to Everton McFarling, the Chief Executive Officer or the Executive Director of FSC last evening as well on Beyond the Headlines, who said much of what is captured in that. We keep tracking this matter. If you have some money in that entity, we'd be happy to hear from you, how you feel about it, the dis-ease or unease. I'd be happy to hear. Now, there's another aspect of the press conference yesterday, listeners, that was held by the PNP that I want you to hear. I'd love to talk to Mr. Bunting on this, Peter Bunting, opposition senator, leader of government business in the Senate, because Mr. Bunting made an interesting observation, which let's listen to what he said.
Act was amended to make a clear separation between policy and operations. And I am concerned that the continued public advocacy by the Commissioner and members of the High Command, especially after Parliament has decided against it. This was the case both in November 2021 and again in 2022. I believe that the continued public advocacy for states of emergency after Parliament had decided is wrong. This violates that important separation between policy and operations. And it risks pulling the GSF into the arena of politics. It is inappropriate, in my view, unprofessional, and risks taking us back to the days of JLP and PNP police. I call on the Commissioner to stop it. It is unprofessional and it is not in the long-term interest of the GSF.
I've been trying to process this, Mr. Bunting. I've been really trying to process this to see whether in any part of my head the logic in the statement is evident. Because bear in mind, in all instances where the extension of the SOE is defeated in the Parliament, it is defeated because the opposition members in the Senate, at least the one that is needed for the vote to carry, to extend it, they do not vote to extend it. In the lower house, which has the majority of members from the governing party, they vote along party lines and it passes in the lower house. The issue comes up in the upper house. So everybody's sticking to their marbles along the party line. So the defeat comes because the opposition members decide to vote or to abstain, or better yet, not the one vote that is necessary to give the government the numerical latitude to extend, it is not given by the opposition. So, Mr. Bunting is now saying that it is wrong for the police commissioner, who continues to inform the Prime Minister that he has intelligence that crimes of a certain nature are being planned and that the activities being planned meet the constitutional threshold for reimposition of a state of emergency. He is saying it is wrong for the police commissioner to continue to publicly advocate for the reimposition of a state of emergency because Parliament voted for its non-extension. But how can that be right? If the intelligence continues to come in from the police commissioner or to the police commissioner that such thing is warranted, why shouldn't the police commissioner continue to lobby? Mr. Golding says he's going to test it in court, whether the SOEs can be reimposed and reimposed after its extension is blocked in the Parliament. Go right ahead and test it in the court. Until such time, I do not know on what basis you tell the police commissioner that it is wrong because Parliament says no to the extension, then he shouldn't lobby for the imposition of it in some other area or indeed in the same area in which it has discontinued. And then there is this thrust. I hear it, even Comrade when he calls me sometimes. I have to say, do not politicize the force. And now we're hearing it going all the way up to the opposition spokesman on national security, where there's an attempt to literally divide the force into JLP and PNP police. I cannot even begin to opine the danger of that position. By all means, go to the court and test it on the issue of constitutionality so that all of us can have the clarity. But the least we should be doing now is leaving the force without the blemish of the political colors. Please, I beg you, leave the force out of it. 876-926-2178, 926-8631. I'm with 2178.
Okay, Miss Cook.
Who is this?
Miss Cook, I just want to take 30 seconds to make sure that this...
No, man. This is Jonah Crooks?
Yeah.
No, man, I can't go with you again.
No, but I didn't get to complete. Remember the news also.
No, too much Crooks can't depend on this program. One Crooks is already, me can't deal with our next one. Have a good day. Next week. 8631. Hello?
Hello, good morning, Emily. How are you?
Very well, thank you. And you?
A voice from the distant past.
It is. Please
Let me see if you're sharp and you can remember this voice.
Well, speak more so I can see.
Speak more, speak, Lord, thy servant hear it.
Remind me of the matters you raised with me before.
Marshall.
Oh, Marshall, it has been too long.
It's been long. Not been on the side, Emily. Not been on the side.
Oh, where have you been then?
Where have I been? I'm in the U.S.
All right. You're there now?
Yes and no.
All right. So did you find
Yes and no.
All right.
I keep in touch with what is happening.
Did you see the classified documents in Biden's garage?
Oh boy. Yeah, but I don't want us to go there. I want us to stay,
Stay with me on the rock, Marshall. It's good to hear you.
Yeah, so as your colleague in media, which I am, I wish that all of us were united in taking an assertive approach to our coverage of the important national matters that come up before us every day.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a practitioner for 35 years in journalism.
Mm-hmm.
And I practice from the archives mostly relating the information there to what's happening currently because we're going in circles.
Mm-hmm.
You quote from Peter Bunting. Peter Bunting is joking. We try too hard in media, right, to protect their feelings. You know, we don't want to hurt the feelings of the politicians. They are responsible for people's lives, all right? The decisions they make affect whether people live or die and how well people live or how, right? And they are playing their vocabulary games, right? Or verbal games or whatever, going in the house, and it is a sport to them, okay? But people's lives are not so trivial.
Yes.
In the matter of the FSC, I treat an allegation for what it is. The matter with SSL is an allegation. It's been investigated. Nobody is charged as yet. Nobody is tried. Nobody is convicted.
Yes.
But there is a root to this problem. If I say to you that banks are not being regulated, you would wonder why I would make such a statement. Okay, but from the position of knowledge that I have, when the banks could change the model, right, from a rigid control system, right, where certain prudential ratios are established for the conduct of their business, and those are no longer being observed. They were given license to take deposits and to lend those deposits, right, so that you have a savings and loan relationship. Depositors got a good deal, right? And, you know, those who borrowed the money would have to pay a premium on those deposits for depositors to get a good deal. That was the license they got. And they changed it to a custodial model, a fee banking system. The regulators, right, sit by and allowed this to happen, right? Then you can't be surprised, right? Most of their income, when I believe that there should be a cap on the amount of income a bank makes from fees, right? They can close branches, they can give poor service to the customers, they can force people to go into electronic banking who, you know, with a low density of you know, understanding of technology and access to devices and so on, right? Because of the absence of regulation.
I don't
right?
know if it's not appropriate to say there's absence of regulation, Marshall. Probably you want a more micromanaging. Huh?
I watched how the shift occurred. You know, when I started out, I used to report on the insurance industry. And how that came about after Hurricane Gilbert. The event of Hurricane Gilbert was 30 years after the last major hurricane event, which was Charlie, right? And the insurance companies were then activating the average clause to say that people are underinsured and they were going to treat the claims for Gilbert accordingly, right? Which was reprehensible for them to do, right? And I became very active in advocating against that position. I started reporting on the conduct of business in the insurance industry. There was an Office of Superintendent of Insurance, which is the predecessor of the FSC. The reports that they filed, they came under the Ministry of Finance, and the reports that they filed could be as many as 10 years behind. Now, how do you assess, right, the solvency of an insurance company? If the report you spoke about audits and so on that should be done of these financial institutions, if the reports are running 10 years behind.
No, but you don't need to go back so far. So it's
No. I'm just giving you an idea of where I'm coming from.
I understand where you're coming from. I understand, Marshall, except where we are now, we actually have a law that governs this and under which the FSC operates.
And what you need the law to do is to be enforced.
Yes, but no, hang on a second. The law does not allow micromanagement of every business entity. In fact,
you don't need to micromanage.
But how else could the FSC operate, for example, to prevent something of the magnitude based on the allegation that comes out of SSL? It would have to do exactly what it is doing now, which is saying to SSL, we're not going to stop you from paying out, we're not going to stop you from receiving, but we have to approve each and every transaction. No entity could be peopled with enough representative for the financial institutions that we have to allow for those institutions to function. It's not possible.
But what has been uncovered, you rightly said, we're dealing with a listed entity that would have presented audited financials that were approved. FST would have seen those audited financials.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Nothing is qualified or nothing is highlighted in relation to the misappropriation of funds. So even the auditor's report comes into question.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So remember also that the framework under which the auditors operate, even that there are codes of conduct about how auditors operate.
Correct.
So So if you get the highest one can get in accounting responsibility is audited financial statement. The statement has to be signed by the auditor and it has to be signed by the managing director or the chief executive officer for the respective company, authenticating the truth of what is contained in the document. So if you get, and not only that, you can correct me, Marshall, an entity such as SSL and all other financial entities, they are required, as I understand, by law to have insurance so that in the event there is something of this nature, the invested are assured, subject to whatever fine print in the insurance clauses, that they will get back some cents in the dollar, if not all cents in the dollar. And the insurance companies themselves have to be satisfied on the financials by way of audited financial statements.
Yeah, but the thing about SSL, it's a very unique organization, just like, I'm not jumping all over the place, but the Child Protection Agency. They've been in the news for some time, okay? SSL has been in the news. So FSC should have been doing what they're proposing to do now from some time ago. If you check back, SSL has changed ownership, has been in the news. There have been problems there, in recent times that warranted the kind of intervention the FSC now proposes to take, right? We may not have the point to develop it, but you take my word, right? There's laxity all across the financial sector, starting with how licenses are granted and then how the conduct of business occurs, right? And, I am of the view, and I put it out there and I can defend it, okay, that the banks are changing the model, and the model that they have instituted is beyond the licenses that they have obtained.
Well,
this e-banking thing,
that's a different matter.
Carefully.
That's a different matter.
It's a different matter, and it's going to. It's not the same as SSL, but I raised it, right, as a preface to my comments on SSL.
Yes. Because
it's a broader problem that you're dealing with.
Yes.
Okay? The matter with SSL, right, is just a microcosm of the macro problem.
You know, the issue on the fees has been a subject of intense debate in the parliament, and the arguments have been
there's a conflict of interest. So that debate again is another matter. There are a lot of things to address,
Where lies the conflict? Where lies the conflict?
You have a finance minister who sat on the board of the biggest bank for over a decade. And it wasn't long after he gave up that seat that he went to the position of finance minister.
And how does the conflict arise?
How does the conflict arise?
Yes. By the way, hang on a second. Hang on.
Yes.
Which board did he sit on?
He was on the board of NCB. There was a relationship, a long-standing relationship.
Right. So
you have a bank of Jamaica.
Hang on, Marshall.
Managing director of another bank.
No, hang on a second. I want you to make me understand how a past relationship that you say with a bank and the current portfolio responsibility, how those things lead to a conflict of interest.
It affects certain sympathies. When you talk about market, letting the market decide, right? There are oppressive actions against the customers of the banks. and they're not being addressed, you say let the market decide
No,
because the customers
no,
have choices.
but
There's a choice of
this is the problem
institution.
now. This is the
I
problem.
weigh on the relationships and why the sentiments would be what
But
they
no,
are.
this
I
is.
weigh on
Hang
that.
on a second. This is the problem. The views expressed, as I understand them, by a minister
Mhm.
are not necessarily the views of the minister. The minister speaks on behalf of a cabinet. So, whether Nigel Clark was on the board of NCB...
Of course he spoke on behalf of the cabinet when he
So
said...
let me make the point. Whether he was on the board of NCB in some past life or not, he's a part of a cabinet where 17 other members are there who may not have been on any board of any bank.
So they have a collective position.
And who represent
a collective voice.
And not only that, and who represent large constituents who are complaining about fees that the banks are imposing.
Who are being ignored. And you have to
you want to use if you want to use ignored, then that is your way of adjectivizing.
If we take a contrary position to the cries of your constituents, then you're ignoring them.
No, and you come to me with your qualification as a journalist, and I expect absolute nuance and fairness in language when you make your representations to me. The fact that I don't take the position that you are advocating, it doesn't mean that I haven't considered the position, as happened in the parliament.
The relationship between constituents and their representatives though is a little different.
I don't want you to move off the point. Because what I heard in that parliamentary debate, and I must go back and find it, are arguments set out from both sides where they're saying this is the reason the capping of the fees or the whatever of the fees will not achieve the outcome that you expect or that is desired, and it may actually lead to the detriment of the constituents we represent. So what I heard is a considered position, and the position taken that the best option is to, one, have low know your customer stipulations, so that there are
banking, so that gives access to banking, yes?
It absolutely gives access to banking, and it gives people's choices.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is one of the things that this particular minister has put in place.
What about ensuring more deposits? And as I still feel, capping the amount of fees that a bank can make from the amount of income a bank can make from fees.
Yeah, but you are...
So that you restore the savings and loan relationship.
But this is it now, Marshall.
The distinction between the institutions.
I don't think you have listened to the debate. Because if you'd listened to the debate, you wouldn't raise this argument.
Yes.
And why I say that is because what I learned from the discussion, which took place months ago, but it's reignited by what you said.
Yes.
As much as the fees seem to be high, as an overall percentage of what each bank earns, the fees are minuscule.
Oh, yeah.
That is what the numbers in the parliament came out to
when
be.
they can earn more from less, NCB 99% increase in income, right? With branches closed left, right, and center.
No, I'm not gonna. No.
Yeah.
You can do better than that. Go to another point. You can do better than that.
Go to another point.
Yes, you have another point, because I expect intellectually stimulating argument from you and you are defeating me.
Let that one marinate, Emily.
All right, thank you for the call.
Right,
take care.
Right, bye-bye.
This is the hotline. Listen. You see skullduggery? No matter where in the world you are, no matter what you do, skullduggery are going to keep sometime. Yeah? Something is going to happen. Remember now, if puss want thief and you cook curry chicken in a Dutch pot. And the Dutch pot hot like a 10 fireside. If puss want thief, puss a go lift up the Dutch pot cover and puss a go take out piece of the chicken. And however puss does it, puss is not gonna get burned and puss is gonna thief the curry chicken. Yeah? Such is life. You could have all sort of systems of control sometimes. If 2 foot puss want thief, 2 foot puss a go thief. Part of the issue is how soon you catch the 2 foot puss. How far the puss run go. Do you have some crazy glue by the desk so the moment puss put a rapid in him pocket, puss gets stuck. You tell the puss you no play stucky. I'm a play. 1, 2, 3, freeze. You freeze him right there. Or you may have a system where puss cannot get through the door because everything locked down. Or you may have a system where puss gets through the door, but you have a camera recording puss. Or you may have a system make you say, let me see how thief puss really thief. And if puss going take a little rap head, or puss going come back and take 2 more rap head, and 3 more rap head, let me see how deep puss kleptomaniac tendencies are. So you know whether it's father puss, yeah, mother puss, or the baby puss you're dealing with. That is life. So the fact that the thing is happening, has happened, it doesn't necessarily mean that the system has failed. It is the fact that the person is caught, which means that the system has worked. And further, the actions that are taken. So sometimes I think we want to come down on the head of the wrong thing when something is discovered. Now, if we trace the pussery, if we trace it now, I'd realize that this is something of long standing, then you can say the systems were not sensitive enough to catch baby puss until baby puss turn into mother puss. And mother puss and father puss are just family puss, and it shouldn't happen. But the discovery of something can actually be evidence that the system works. And we mustn't try to overcompensate by having an overly complicated, regulated system to the point where nobody can deposit and nobody can withdraw without approval coming from regulatory entities, which is going to end up elongating the time for deposit, elongating the time for withdrawal, frustrating people to the point where people take out their money and go put on the bed with banana bark. So you see, when we're doing the analyses, let's have a broad and wide spectrum, and you can't just fling in stuff so for the sake of flinging. Yeah, it's not emerald. And emerald will be the cook where emerald stay from far, put in little salt, and it look like he's putting in some oregano, will make the food taste so good, and all him are putting a little salt. By the way, it's long time I don't watch Emerald live. I used to like watch Emerald. Emerald made cooking look so good. This is a hotline. Hey God, father puss, but they used to have father fall, you know. So why they can't have father puss? Oh God. And I'll tell you something, listeners, you know, one of the reasons why I take the time to listen to these things, I find them so enriching. And you listen to the arguments. And not only the arguments, the evidence that is being presented. So when people come and tell you why this should have happened, you say, but hang on a minute. Did you see the evidence that if it happened, then this would be the result? And you want to disregard what was presented to you because somehow it feels as if it is going to ignite some sort of passion out there and cause people to be irrational when there is no good reason for irrationality. No. Take the time to listen. If you don't take the time to listen, don't take the time for talk. And don't call me. Because one thing, me listen, me love listen. Me no love talk, you know. It's only for me can't play Silent Night by here. And I meant here, H-E-R-E, and I'm not starting to say air and putting a H on it. Let us go to the break. This is the hotline. Thank you, listeners. We're back with you on the hotline. Dr. Chang, I've been trying to make contact with you because the various members of the taxi associations and members of the public too have a lot of questions in relation to the regulations and so forth coming into play come the 1st of February. Legitimate concerns. I had a meeting with some members of the taxi associations a couple of days ago, and I think some of the questions that they have relate to non-taxi operators too, and I want to flesh through some of them, but I haven't been able to make contact. By the way, when is this cabinet reshuffle? It's Friday the 13th, it's not today. No, I haven't been paying too much attention to that because I don't know what kind of card left in this deck here for shuffle. What's a whole heap of joker? 2178. Toll free. Hello, this is the hotline. I'm so sorry, that line is not good at all. 8631. Hello.
Church sister. Hold on, the church sister.
The drama, no.
Church sister.
Yes, 13 minutes to on the 13th of January. Yes.
Happy day, Bob Miller birthday. Happy birthday to Bob Miller.
Who is Bob Miller?
Today, Bob Miller, 80-year-old, Portia Simpson husband, brother, from Donna Kendalia.
Ah, whoa.
Today, my 80-year-old, so happy birthday to you, Bob Miller.
Errol Miller's brother.
Errol Miller's brother, which is my brother-in-law. Hey, I'm a Bob Miller wife.
Ah, whoa.
Eh? Trailer load of man to go take off a walk from me that. Hey, morning.
Trailer load is right.
Hey, church sister.
Mm-hmm.
Siaga dead then your son, no berry.
Siaga?
Jimmy.
Dead again?
One old man always up hospital. Everybody have Siaga name done, you know. One man on a British, a Lucy have one near Edward Philip George Clark.
Thank God it's Clark.
You know what opinion you Siaga done ya?
Thank God it's Clark.
Philip.
Edward Philip George Clark.
Edward Philip George Clark, the man near me. The whole of Siaga near me. Hey, the Jimmy Bishop wife up on Mount Salem when I passed the hospital and then the police station and son round. His wife said, so I see the funeral tomorrow and Sunday the last day.
Yes.
You know, head Bishop, hold on. I know it's not an easy road for you today. I know it's very hard.
Yes.
My only wife. I write the Bishop, you know, only wife me have. Some of them all have 5 wives, and none of them no, they don't know. Hey.
Them African.
And so them a prophet. Eh? What type of cold church in a Jamaica now, church sister?
What do you call cold church?
Cult, C-U-L-T. Cult.
Oh, cult.
And that yes, somebody said no one there with one man church sister. Yeah, the man no, they walk, you know. I am not going to do no miracle today because they come to watch me. Me no know some man that do miracle, me no say how in God.
So,
Prime Minister,
then who come to watch him?
That church when they're in this country. It's a chance supposed to sit on our yard. You're not supposed to do any work. Because no time should be there. But church sister, they are not worshiping God. They are cultism. They study.
No, but you
right,
have to be careful because then miracles. What kind of miracle them usually say them perform now?
Eh?
What kind of miracle them say them perform?
What kind of miracle?
Me don't know. You tell me.
I know. But they see them, they do it themselves. Sister, you know, every guy at a church a long time, you know about that. Seventh-day Adventist a long time. New Testament Church of God a long time. Apostolic a long time. Sister, the amount of bishop sinting what they go on now. Some of them first time they look at the man go bush to plant ganja and come out. You see they eat up one shop a roadside. I saw them eat up the culture. Some of them have names so you can't even call. All right, me talk to you now. I like what Mr. Golden said this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I hear her talking about it. I agree with Mr. Golden. Don't come out and no queen.
Don't do what?
No come out and no queen.
No, that's...
So Barbados come out and can't play East of them all now. Barbados stay nurse and doctor yet.
That is not what Mr. Golding is saying though.
Is what he say?
He's saying the complete opposite.
I think he said not come out of the queen.
No, he must have he left the king. But
left the king?
Yes, but
which king? Him son come out, you know, him son attack, you know. You see them there?
Well,
you know, so Harry dead with them.
What you say? Harry?
What has happened to Bidden?
Look, been over to Bidden.
There is fire on the mountain up a Bidden now.
I saw that.
Bidden to have heart attack, you know.
A pox on their houses.
Here's your Prime Minister.
Eh?
Pick up yourself. Andrew Michael Honey.
Before that.
Prime Minister.
Before
that.
Lord Jesus.
England ain't nothing.
Yeah, cut and go through.
Barbados come out of the Queen and can't pay them staff. Prime Minister standing at the Queen. Somebody tell you, you're right there.
No.
No way.
The Prime Minister wants to leave the king.
Too much now.
Him tell William.
Eh? Feed you. And right there.
They not feed we. Them take all leave from we. They're not feeding us.
They not feed we?
No.
All right, talk. Let me hear you.
So him tell William when William come the other day with him bald head. You did see it?
Yes, no, so like a jump out.
Drop X9.
Mighty God.
The Draco say fish bone and a Till all Harry. That's why I tell you saying that. That's why I tell you there's a lot of pushery. A lot of pushery going on in this place here because I don't know how they're going to keep the light. Or that the sign. It's true.
Money.
And a fee money alone, you know. It's not fee money alone. It's over 20, 30 people me here and counting. But if anybody can catch them, can catch the thief, you see and Bull can't catch him.
Eh? I have big post, little post, medium size post, and baby post. All sorts of post. I remember one time one man done a loose and go thief one man color them put a water boot and make the cow they walk back there.
No, we have to take bad things make laugh.
No. I want to talk about this country. The lights are for the side so nobody can see the sign and it. Then down with the solar.
I heard it, but it's really true?
Yes, sister, the cellular gone and fight.
Oh, God.
And look how cellular is expensive. So the people that come out and GPS, like they can't manage GPS, but everybody run to cellular now.
Yes.
Everybody run to cellular now. Hey, and sister, how you know, yesterday, Harris coming off the goal. Which day?
No, call Delia name.
Mr. Delia, come down here and get it to go.
You know, Kenneth?
Sister, beg the people and figure sit up at the woman yard. The woman yard back down here, no, sister.
Eh.
They don't go out up there, they pay for it.
And what them say, a pyrite, something named pyrite.
Pyrite?
Pyrite, that's what mine and the already say it is. Mm-hmm.
I do know, I hear the man, your sister. One make you have to take over the program, so they never come after your program. They are not bad mind, you know. No, you see, Dion is like my sister, you know. She compare, because some days. You like to take people, did you?
Eh?
You never take no call.
Yes, because I'm reading day. When we have a lot of things to read, me call her in.
Why never come from Hotline one day?
She did.
All right, me can take me call chat to it.
Depends.
She's no good, you know.
No.
She's not good.
I want you leave her alone. No, Dion is my sister. I want you leave her alone. Don't get it twisted.
All right, leave her.
I tell you something. If you wait, no, before you go birth, lad, make your cut and go through so. If you wait. If you put Dion in one room,
yes,
and put me in a next room.
Bird of one feather.
No, put me in a next room and give us two issues to put our views.
Oh.
Me go right
and
and she go left. Completely opposite views. But that is the beauty.
Come from and you come from West.
Look at that. As far as the east is from the west. But don't get it twisted. We are really good friends. And she comes on this program whenever she can.
No,
invite her.
I never come from Hotline.
No, not to host it. No, not to host it. But because the time and then she have her thing. So, yes. But don't get it twisted.
You don't have fear too. You don't have more demands, man. And how come you don't want to come, you could go over here?
No, it's not that. No, it's not that she doesn't want to come. No.
I think I'll get Earl Maxum. Earl Maxwell wants to go for God's house, no go collect in badge, you know.
No.
Is that the great Earl Maxum want to go for God's house to go collect in badge? Earl Maxum want to get the badge.
Earl Maxum.
It's right to Earl Maxum get the badge now. It's not right. Everybody come from me not even some of them are there. Me never see something like people. And then they get a Earl Maxum can't get no. Earl Maxum need to go for God now to collect him badge.
Give Earl Maxum him badge, yes.
Yes, the governor general needs to give. It's
yes.
not the creator you be the call for and you will give me. No follow don't they want the whole long no get Earl Maxum because doing a good work. The additional, you know, what we not know tell you about it.
Yes.
It deserves to go up there. Just up in a Ted Baker suit.
And in guillotine. And the guillotine.
In Ted Baker suit and in long suit. In Ted Baker suit and in long but we see the fine boy. Hey, church sister, another thing now.
Oh, Jesus.
The Teachers Association answer the retired teacher them for them get their money. Not you call the number, come here, I'll try church sister. They say me must wait to go up on the line. The operator answer, sister, 2 hours and nobody come. 2 hours, me say me can about the whole of my credit. Up on Jamaica teacher them. Why you want to call it? Why name them? What head for teacher them? To deal with the people, the teacher them pension, the retired people them pension. The teachers them get the little money first. They have 2 more money to get. I know they not answer to give the people them their money. They get it for we at 2020 and you me have to compare you and Mr. Mullins. What me say? And no, until now for them get the 1 money. 2 money left. They not give them no money I know. 2021, 2022 and now 2023. What me say? And the money where 2 or 3 years before then give them the money for 2020. It's not right then if you answer their phone. Let me give you the number them.
This is JT. No, the number can't help me if they not answer their phone.
I tell them, Mrs. because of me tired. Mr. 2 hours me stand me the watch me time.
So who you're the teacher?
Me?
Yes.
Me and teacher me could have chat so bad. What is wrong with you? Take Jamaica teacher for idiot like myself, yeah?
No, but what you're
talking... the people that report to me because I'm a proper reporter. And I speak the truth and nothing but the truth to help me God.
You're a village lawyer. So why they not send email?
Email?
Yes.
The people that send email so they're tired. But they're not church society to speak it, you know. After they push you down and answer to sit nothing to you. And you don't run a Ghana sign up and teach them and know you're retired. You know to get no money?
No, I didn't say that. Yes. So this is a Jamaica Teachers Association. Jamaica Teachers Association. Well, all right.
Jamaica Teachers Association. Call them and hear the people them. Call them and they have the people them check up, they put on. But I say, the lady tell me so when him getting checked, they check up there. See over about 6 months. He almost done sister. They're wicked, you know.
Well.
They're not supposed to treat people so after they work so hard.
You put it out there.
Let me tell something now. Mr. Chang.
No go no more. Me out of time.
All right, love you. Take care.
Because as Rick so cool.
And the 13th of August, your husband born.
Yes.
I love you.
And today the 13th of January.
Yes, I 13th. See that Bob Miller birthday. I love you, Bob Miller. Mr. Combs morning.
All right.
Morning to everybody there. I love you now.
Then tell me something. The people ain't really thief the light. Don't have they sign for true on the grill? I'm glad the light of the world is Jesus, you know. Let's go to the headlines.
You're listening to Radio Jamaica 94 FM. We invite you now to stay tuned for the news. This time signal is brought to you by the Jamaica Social Investment Administration Department. Continue. Indiana.
The cardiac unit at the Jamaica Pegasus
7 and 9:30 via text
institution.
One spot meet.
I come straight up. This is the hotline. What is this? What a mess. Messy, 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 messy time. From Argentina come straight up. Pure mess we inna. I am understanding, you see. There's a lot of work at that place, that financial institution. A lot of work. A lot of people going to be called to book, you know. I need to understand the I don't know who I can talk to. Just yet, I need to understand what are the necessaries by law for the functioning of an entity such as this financial entity. Yeah? Internal auditor, compliance manager, and all of these things. I think we need to properly have a good understanding as to what is necessary and also what was not present. What was present, what was not present at this particular SSL. So some people might be asking, for example, why a particular course hasn't been taken by the police in relation to these sums of money that we hear have been allegedly removed from the entity. But you have to bear in mind that police have to work on evidence, on something. So if nothing has yet happened, police probably don't have nothing yet. And if police don't have nothing, you must ask yourself why police don't have nothing. Somebody from SSL, I'd love to understand something. 9262178. Remember, we have Inside Banking with NCB coming up in a short while. 2178. Comrade time. Hello?
Wow.
Hello?
Hello.
Welcome.
Afternoon, Emily.
Morning here.
Yes, still morning. That's correct.
Yes, who is this?
This is Michelle. First time caller to your program.
Michelle, good to have you.
Great. I called to poke at Miss Lucy. I don't know if you, when she was talking, I think you missed it. She calls solar cellular.
That's what somebody said to me. I did completely miss it.
I need you to call her on this.
Oh no, so you're no worse than me.
No, man, you need to call her up because guess what? She was already corrected about it, you know. She was corrected by the gentleman on a Monday. What's his name again?
Mr. Mullings. Clive. Clive Mullings, or was it?
Yes, Mr. Mullings corrected her and told her it is not cellular, it is solar.
Yeah, that's what somebody, Rick So Cool tweeted to say, how that miss you? Miss Lucy said that everyone turned into cellular.
I was saying, Emily, please, call her out.
No, me never hear it at all. Me never hear it until me see Rick So Cool tell me. No, Miss Lucy came here one time, you know, and tell me, say, she have a friend who is allergic to the guillotine in the bread. The guillotine. A gluten she was saying, you know.
Yeah.
And she said the guillotine.
Miss Lucy is special. You know, I really enjoy listening to her.
We're creating a whole dictionary for Miss Lucy here.
We have to try and keep up with her pace.
I know.
But she's a personality.
She is.
Okay, all right. Enjoying the program.
All right, Miss Michelle. The cellular. You see, my callers, they worse than me, you know. I completely missed it, Rick. So cool. Everyone turning to the cellular instead of solar. No. Then somebody really teeth out the bulb out of the something in the grill. I need a video of it. I need a video of that. 926-8631. Hello?
Good morning.
Yes, he's Central.
Oh, go on.
That thing's
this is the one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Them ready to take out the bulb them from the thing there? From the grill?
You know, I'm going to go down that side.
You hear about it though?
No, just through Miss Lucy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man, just through Miss Lucy.
Mm-hmm. All right, talk up to me, come with DNT.
No, man.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you touch on, where you touch on today? You touch on the CCJ as well as touch on the Privy Council.
Well, did I? I touch on it in Mark Golding's twinning of the matter with the naming of a committee.
Okay. Why would he not name the committee?
Name his members to the committee. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why would he not name his members? You want it in writing? So whatever way the action is moving forward, that to say that he has it in writing?
No, well, he seems to be saying two things. One, in his response to the minister, he said he doesn't agree that, my paraphrasing, that they should go ahead with removal of the king as head of state without considering at the same time the removal of our final appellate court from the Privy Council to the Caribbean Court of Justice. That's one. And two, he said the minister must answer his questions with the specificity, and part of the answer that she needs to give, it would appear, is a commitment that you cannot move from the king without also moving away from the Privy Council same time. And if you're not doing that, then he has a fundamental disagreement with that. Plus, he says she needs to specify what exactly they intend to do with the Charter of Fundamental Rights.
Okay.
My understanding.
So, yeah, man. So let me walk it down the road. The Privy Council was established in when? 2001. We have an appellate jurisdiction.
Privy Council?
The CCJ. 2001, CCJ.
Yes, about that.
And we have an appellate jurisdiction. Yeah, we have appellate jurisdiction, and we started functioning in 2005. We contribute hundreds of thousands of dollars. And why we're not utilizing it, Mr. Emily?
Because it's a decision that has to be taken about whether we continue. We use it, We use it in its original jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Which is why the Shanique Mary case from Jamaica could go there.
Okay.
What we don't use it as is as our final appeal court for criminal matters.
Okay. So I remember.
Well, final appeal for criminal and civil, but in its original jurisdiction where it interprets the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas and relations between and among CARICOM states, then that is the proper forum. Yes, there is a trust fund to which every single member of the community, they have contributed, and a substantial portion of the membership have not acceded to the jurisdiction, and so the money is there. But it's a decision for the people of the country to take, and frankly, I believe that we should take it sooner rather than later.
Okay, I understand. I remember when Delroy Chuck was Shadow Justice Minister, he said that it would have too expensive to fund. But we know that we contribute to the trust fund.
It's already been funded.
Yes, so now he's not shadowing, is the Justice Minister. Would you think that he wanted to go the route now, based on when he was Shadow Justice Minister, he said that he would have expensive?
No, I don't know about the issues of expense.
Okay.
I don't, because put my views aside.
Okay.
And I've told you that my thinking is that CCJ has lived up the CCJ has demonstrated, certain abilities that people were concerned about before. And plus the manner in which judges are to be selected. It is so transparent with the Judicial Services Commission that it's to be commended, and the funding for it is there. So I think at some point in time, very soon, we're going to have that conversation. And I do believe that it is a bit insulting to have the access to your final court being in a jurisdiction where you have to get visa to go there.
Okay.
I believe it is insulting. But the point that Mark Golding made, first thing is, even now, and the arguments are becoming a little weaker, because right now, especially during the pandemic, I could stay at my office and watch cases being argued by attorneys in Jamaica online and attorneys in several other jurisdictions around the world in front of the Privy Council.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, so the idea of distance is different now because of how they are utilizing, and that facility still obtains. Two, is not all matters as of right go to the Privy Council for appeal. So when he says that ordinary Jamaicans don't get access to the final court, is not every case can go to your final court of appeal, because it has to pass a certain constitutional test, and your local court here have to give you permission to go to the Privy Council. And if you don't get it from the local court here, the Court of Appeal, then you can go renew the application for permission to the Privy Council.
Yeah, I understand that, but I remember there was a letter sent in 2010 to then Prime Minister Mr. Golding, and addressed to Ms. Dorothy Lightburn, and she was the Attorney General.
Yes.
At those days, the lawyers overseas, which is the Privy Council lawyers, wanted to come and have itinerary sittings in Jamaica.
Itinerant, yes.
Yeah, listeners, when we talk about itinerary sittings or itinerant, we mean like say that they would want it to come and keep the sittings in spite of we finding it difficult to pay the burden of the fare and the visa. They would to come and have cases here in Jamaica. Why was that? Never done this assembly.
For which court this is? For the Privy Council?
Yes, please.
Yeah, but even if it wasn't done then, I don't know, but it is being done now. It is being done now. I've heard of the Privy Council, I'm sure, in recent times. But, as I said, they're having online where there's no need for anybody to travel, where people can sit wherever they are and argue their cases in front of it. But it doesn't take away from the point that I believe that after so long, we can establish our own court or join the CCJ, and I'm perhaps leaning more heavily than not to joining the CCJ because of its tried, tested, and proven jurisprudential qualities. But as a separate matter as to whether we should twin it with becoming a republic, but I've got to go inside NCB, inside banking, that is.
You're listening to Radio Jamaica 94 FM. Today's a good day to plant a tree. Get tree seedlings at the Forestry Department to plant and contribute to Jamaica's effort to plant 3 million trees in 3 years. The time by the Forestry Department is now 11:30.
At NCB, we're grateful that you've trusted us to help unlock your dreams, that you've chosen us to be a part of the most magical moments of your lives. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Some special transaction.
Hello.
What a Saturday night, Lord, what a night, not a bite. What a Saturday night.
Thank you, listeners. One of an old favorites from Jamaica. 876-926-2178. Hello.
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 Miss Cooks.
Comrade.
Hello. Miss Cooks.
What is going on in the background there?
Let me turn it down. Is a meeting.
Yes.
Let me turn it.
Yes, because I don't want to hear what's happening there.
You read Mark Golding letter?
If I read his letter?
Yes, the letter them when published.
Where?
In the media, out there on social media and the media. The letters that he wrote to your head girl.
She's not.
Because it look like when we read them, it's like I'm just stand up between the government and we right.
Pardon?
But following on the
What? No. Where are these letters?
Them out there, Miss Cook.
No, who published them?
Mark Golding sent them out. The letter that he wrote to the to Mrs. Malahoo Fort.
Okay, and they're sent out to say what exactly?
I'll ask somebody to send them to you on Twitter. The person is listening now, so I'm sure she will send them to you.
But what you understand the purpose of disclosing of the putting the letters is? What's the purpose?
The purpose?
Yes.
The purpose is, as me tell you yesterday, we can't trust no. We buy no cash. Like how we buy vote election day.
Yes,
because we don't want what happened to Peter Phillips to happen. Mark Golding don't want that to happen to him. Where the Prime Minister said he's going to discuss it, and the Prime Minister coming to Parliament and say Peter tell him say agree with it.
Every day you come here, come talk about Uno.
Yes.
Do not mix me up.
Okay.
Do not mix me up. Uno don't like my truth, but I tell you, I do not care how my views sound when my views come out. Any side you think them are lying to, you're free to call me whatever, right?
Miss Crooks.
But maybe I want to see this letter because when
so how you not see them?
What do you mean how many see them? I don't think you understand the nature of the day I run. You don't understand my life.
But Miss Crooks, something as important as that. You spoke about the press conference this morning. You've been in it from yesterday and this morning, and you know see the letter.
I've been in one from yesterday. But comrade, do you know how long the Parliament session was on Tuesday?
No.
Over 3 hours. And do you know what? I listened to it in full. You know how long the press conference was yesterday? Over 50 odd minutes. And do you know what? I listened to it.
So what about the letter?
So that's the point. If I have given over the last 2 days, nearly 3 hours to this one particular matter, plus all of the other matters, don't fault me if I didn't find this sort of letter. And bear in mind that the letter was the subject of discussion in Parliament.
Okay.
But may I go find the letter to see what it says?
I think they are important. But the point I was making yesterday, Miss Cook,
yes,
is that we cuss King, we cuss Queen, well she gone. We talk about reparation, we talk about everything.
Yes.
We must let go of England, we get independence. We have a Caribbean Court of Justice. And let me I'm not getting it mixed, twisted with what Mark Golding said. I have been asking from last year when the head girl come out and attack, I said, why is it that we want to give up the Queen, but we want to pan Queen
No,
court?
but nobody says you want that's a misconception, comrade.
Oh, okay.
England. Stop it.
Part of England.
No, stop it. There is no I don't see where anybody says that there is a desire to remain with the Privy Council. The question seems to be, is there agreement on where we want to go when we leave the Privy Council? That seems to be the argument. I don't know. So for Mark Golding to be making out the arguments about the distance from England, everybody know that, and I think it is agreed.
So what about we're not sure if we want to go Caribbean Court of Justice or we want to go Jamaica Court of Justice. We're not sure.
That seems to be the argument from the JLP. For my part, I know exactly where I would like to see the country go. But if the issue is, let's move now on the things on which we have agreement. And what I heard Malahoo Ford said is that the Constitutional Reform Committee will help to build consensus around the things on which there is not agreement, where agreement has been eroded or where agreement is not present.
Okay.
That's the argument. So in fact, let me tell you something. Mark Golding needs to appoint himself to the committee.
Okay.
And then he can get the chance to be all things up there if that's what he wants.
Okay. We don't want to be all things, Miss Cook. Our Mark don't want to be all things. We just want to make sure, say, with that all of the you hide them and cross all of the T.
But that's what the committee wants to do.
Because, and that is why we want a specific way, because guess what? You see, if it's successful, then big up them tomorrow can take it for themselves. And if it fail at the opposition, and we not
Comrade,
we are not taking it.
Comrade,
we are
this
not
is
taking any failure.
Comrade,
we are not
pause.
taking any failure.
Pause, comrade. This is where now I really want us to concentrate on Project Jamaica. It's not about
concentrate on Jamaica 60 to get PM.
No,
and
stop.
PM.
Stop. It's not about no. Before you move on, it's not about failure. This particular issue, it cannot go through the movement from the monarchy to the republic. It cannot go through without bipartisan support.
Okay.
Yes.
Ms. Cook, I want to touch on something quickly before, because time is on us. You see, white collar crime and blue collar crime and big man crime and small man crime, all of that, not because in our cause no life, they're not dead. We must deal with it too. I'm very uncomfortable just splitting up. I mean, I always have a problem with it. Or Petroja minced up that contract to get that man chin down there. And they pay some of the money by Bun. Why I'm putting him pan down there. Mr. Bun. We have a problem. Miss Cook.
I have the letters now. I have the letters now. Wait, I agree with you. I agree. No, you draw the letters to my attention.
We need to deal with corruption, Miss Cook. We need to. You can't talk about jury yesterday and people who they go give police no information when we have so much corrupt officials out there with a jacket and tie.
Okay.
What can buy out the people them? What kind of country? We tough and say if we have the man down there, we must have mercy upon the man. We must forgive him, and the man not do nothing. What kind of slack they go on in this country, Miss Cook? You know answer.
No, may I read the letter. I talk about bun and cheese. You bring the letter to my attention. And my producer. Some issues are more important than bun and cheese.
Oh, Miss Cook, that is why we're in the position where we're in now.
That is it.
You're right. That is why we're in the position, because we say not important. Till we run state of emergency, it's on joke. Till we have to buy all peace. We have to pay a gunman to put on their gun. That is why we're in the position where we're in now. Because with the position you took last week on the whole Bloomfield matter. That is why we're in the position that we're in now.
No, this
because
is why,
that is why Tufton can't tell us if we forgive
you know
the
what,
MP.
You know what I'm going to need? When you're done talking,
you don't need
no.
That is why we're in the position that we're in now.
Guess what? I was going to say I'm going to need lamp oil when you're done with me. Pure colic you'll give me. Goodbye. Meditation and news time.
Noonday Meditation is brought to you by Fast Rich Company Limited for all your electrical, LED, solar, and lighting products in Mandeville and Montego Bay. Visit Shop Fast Rich.
Sweet hour of prayer, sweet hour of prayer.
Let us pause.
Careful not to count his chickens.
January.
Radio.
The Hotline and why. Thank you, listeners. We're back with you on the hotline. Time now for X and Y.
You remember the other day I told you that there are number stray puss. I pass through my yard from time to time.
Baby puss?
Baby man puss.
Or pa?
Oh.
Papoose?
Papoose. Mother puss. But I'm seeking your assistance here now.
My assistance?
Hold on,
You think I'm the executive director of the Puss Association? Of the Puss Association, the PA for short, PA?
No, you're the union delegate.
Yes, I'm the executive director of PA, the Puss Association.
Because I kind of want to start a training program.
For Puss?
For Puss, yeah. So they won't be so thief. They'll become honest.
Lord have mercy. I want the crooks to lead it. This is the height of the pussification of the nation.
By the crooks.
The crooks. Emily Shields, nay Crooks, is to become the executive association of the Puss Association.
No, the executive director.
Executive director of Puss Association PA, with its mandate. It is to train the puss.
To be honest.
The crux of it.
How many, hold on there.
Ah, Jesus.
Maybe you have got to take off maybe 2 foot them. So they have 2 foot. The kind of puss we are teeth and now they pay 2 foot puss.
Have the puss, that is the 2 foot. Them out the boy.
But you know.
Boy, I may tell you.
I don't know if you heard about this story of a man who was a pastor. And he lived alone, so he prepared his rice and peas, stew beef. Got up early Sunday morning.
My pigtail?
No, there was no pigtail in it. A stew beef him cook.
If you cook, add more things, man. Put pigtail in there and make it in a nice stew peas.
Anyway,
you soak the peas?
I don't know if him did soak it.
And use coconut milk?
Possibly.
And scallion? And scotch bonnet? Time?
He will spend time.
How much you spend? 6 million US?
Not quite.
Thank God for that.
But he spends on time. And him today and prepare him thing and nicely, because him I got preach Sunday morning. The church was near to the house still, him could have stayed on the pulpit and looking at the kitchen.
Father from God.
So anyway, him got up this Sunday morning very early and him do him thing and get him dinner ready and thing and him gone. At church now, dress up in him like a Freddy. And church a preach, man, and
I tell you now, wool.
When him look, I'm a preach him sermon, I'm look and him see the push a draw near to the food with the fire.
I remember vaguely hearing the story. Let me see her tell it.
Oh, man, I worry now, I wonder how am I going to get the puss out of the kitchen, because he really don't want the puss to go take the meat out of him pot. So he was there and he's not even so focused on the sermon, He want to know how am I going to really get this puss away. He's not able to get off at the pulpit either. So how am I going to do this now? Look at him, see the puss get near. And start preaching himself.
People are getting a spirit.
Oh, I tell you, everything is a bother. Everything is a bother. I tell you, the goat is a bother.
Yes.
And the pig is a bother.
Yes.
The hog is a bother.
Yes.
The dog is a bother. Yeah. Down to the very puss. So him turn him out right up to the house, I said, down to the very puss.
The puss run?
Puss gone.
Rat take charge. Yes, I heard it this year. Delivered it really well.
Oh, man.
The puss run.
Puss run gone, man.
So how to get the puss away from the pot?
So now Pastor can come back and focus.
Yes.
And then still I watch if the pussy come back.
It's so funny how when we really want to, in the country, when we really wanted to chase the puss away, that's what we would do. So they say we'd bawl out, puss!
Puss, yes.
And puss run.
Gone.
Fancy that. I heard that story in my country as well. Yeah.
Yes.
What you did.
But it just come back to me when you talk.
Yeah. You delivered it really well.
When you had the puss sermon earlier.
I know. Sermon on the Mount.
No. That will remain puss sermon.
Yes.
But there's something I wanted to ask you. I was talking to Anna Kay yesterday about hopscotch. So she was able to draw the hopscotch.
Was she?
Yeah, man. Mm-hmm. Because she has seen it at different schools that she attended.
Because you go one square, then midway between one square, you have two starting, and then no.
All right.
1, 2, 3, and then 3.
No. All right. So before we look at how it was.
I'm going to play this next week.
You mean you're going to play hopscotch with me?
May you?
Anyway.
Let's look how our hopscotch look.
All right. So what she was saying is that she wasn't aware of how it is played, how the game was played, but she knew how to draw it because she see it all over the place. All right. So she's bringing it there now. So it's 3 boxes first, single box.
Yeah, so you jump on one leg.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then there would be the double box and one single box in between. Mm-hmm. 2 double box now. Mm-hmm. Right. All right. So you remember how it is played?
You hop on each leg on the single boxes, and then you go double leg, so 2 foot, like 2 foot post. And then you go single leg, then double leg. Isn't that how it's played?
Yeah, but you used to have something to throw in a box. So they would call it your man.
Oh, no. Oh, I never had that. I don't remember that part.
Yeah. So you'd have to throw, for instance, in the first box. And then when you throw in that box, you jump over the box that has the man.
What?
Yes. And you go down the line with your one leg would be jumping 1, 2.
After you jump over, okay.
And then the double box, which would be your 2 legs now. And then the one leg in the middle. Yeah. And then the 2 leg at the very top.
So what if you jump? What if a man drop in at the first double leg?
Well, you would eventually go up there, but you have to take it from 1 right up to that. Oh. So you start at 1, 2, 3, 4, which would be the 4 would be the double box, and then the 5th would be the single box in the middle, and then the 6, 7, 8.
Yeah. Me not gonna play this video because like you're expert.
So no, but the crux of the matter is the crux.
Because I'm still the executive director of the Post Association.
Is you being able to jump. So it's not so much you throwing the man in the boxes. Is you know most can jump.
Well, I don't know high jump you have to jump. And the boxes were wide, very wide. They were not very wide.
They were, well, the width perhaps. I don't know if there was any specification as to how wide it should be, but it would be wide enough for you to land in there properly.
Well,
you're not to step on the line, though,
No.
Not step on any of the lines.
Anna Kay will have to design a hopscotch thing for us.
Are you going there? I'll go play hopscotch
next week. We can go in we can go in our skipping room.
But by the way, you have to pick up your man while you're coming back, and then jump in the box.
How many men?
Well, it's 1.
Ship sail.
Sail fast.
How many men?
None.
Give me 2 man for no man.
I want no man over there.
What is a war? It's a war, man. Woe be unto you. No, cannot manage. We have to complain. Omar, what you saying to me now?
What is Omar saying?
He sent me a voice note.
Oh, Omar must send you a voice note in the minute. Omar must write.
Omar, man, you have to come play hopscotch now. You have to come play hopscotch with me next week. I don't remember the throwing of the man into the thing. You remember it, Anna Kay?
Well, she doesn't know how it was played.
Oh, right, she
just know how it is drawn. So she can draw it because she see it.
It's such a shame that they don't play these things anymore.
Yeah, keep your fit. Hopping and scotching and jumping and
Yeah, it's supposed to build
muscles.
Oh yeah, muscles. Right. He says that you're discussing the hopscotch correctly. So it looks to me like we're gonna have a team of hopscotchers.
Who are the members of the team?
We have to choose a team from who we have.
You don't need more than 2 people. Yeah, Anna Kay can go jump hopscotch.
Anna Kay never played it.
No, but I'll show you.
No, you're the expert. You're the expert.
No, the rules.
You set the rules. If you set the rules, you can't play.
You ever see Stephen Francis around?
No, I always wonder, how Stephen Francis must be such a good coach. And him can't see into them. If him stand up straight and look down, he can't see into.
All I'm asking you, have you ever seen him running? That's all I'm asking. I will say no more.
I plead the fifth. All I know is Bolt have a lot of running to do.
To catch up with the money?
To catch up with these people, yes.
Or catch the push them?
Yeah, and if there's anybody who can catch them, it is going to be Usain.
Right, so push can fast and
9.57 Usain. Sort it out. That's X and Y. Thank you, listeners. We're back with you on the hotline. Somebody has been asking me to if I've seen a food establishment at the intersection of Hope, Trafalgar, and Waterloo Roads. I've not seen it, Not seen it at all. And then she asked me again if I've seen it and who gave permission for it to be put up there. I really haven't seen it. Send me a picture because I'm still trying to wrap my head around these roads. Hope, Trafalgar, and what? So it is right outside Devon House there, so? Oh, so it's on the other side of the stoplights. So is YMCA that's right there on the opposite side? And it's almost directly in front of Y on the other side of the dual carriageway. Okay. So it's Popeyes at the... Okay. I've not seen it, but yeah, I've had this thing. I don't know. I could check it out, but I just need to see. And then I had somebody told me that their flow line is down. Flow line has been down for a number of weeks now. I saw this lady this morning, Flo, and their line has been down in Constant Spring Terrace. Constant Spring Terrace Flow. So have a look at that. Okay? 2178. Hello.
Good morning.
Hi.
Good afternoon, family.
How are you?
I am doing well. OMG, I've been trying to get you for months and years. Thank God I finally did.
It's good to hear you. To whom do I speak?
You're speaking to Winsome.
Yes, welcome, Winsome.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. I have a situation with family which I would like you to help me with. Mm-hmm. I have a brother that died in June of last year. Mm-hmm. They found him hung. Turned out that he was not hung, so the police came in.
No,
and they...
No, what do you mean he was not hung? He died, but it's not suicide.
It's not suicide.
But he was found hanging.
Suicide, but he was found hanging. He was found hanging. Mm-hmm. And the police came in and said it's foul play. Mm-hmm. Now, in July of the same year, they did the autopsy. Mm-hmm. And from then, Miss Emily, today is I think it's the 13th of January. Mm-hmm. There is no report. I have been calling the forensic department. I've been calling the policeman that investigated the matter. Mm-hmm. And he's saying he's not hearing anything from the forensic department, and we are not getting any answers.
Okay.
So I don't know where to turn with this, so I'm seeking your help.
All right, so let's take a contact number for you and get some information for your brother. I'm so sorry to hear about that. And then let's see what answer we can get as to what is taking so long. Yeah, I know that we are very short on pathologists. Mm-hmm. And I suspect sometimes even writing the reports may take much longer than normal because they move on to doing postmortems on others because of the shortage. But let's check. I think that time.
So, Miss Melody, on that note, I asked if it is manpower that is short or if it's equipment. They told me no. They have all those things. Persons are there, but they are low paid. So because they are low paid, they are not making any effort. So I don't know if the government can step in. Ministry of National Security. I heard that this is Department of Forensics. So I don't know if he can step in and try to do something to enhance, because family are suffering.
Yes. Well, all right. Let's check.
Thank you.
All right. Hold on a second for me.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you. Right. So thank you so much, Flo, for the quick response. Flo is asking an account or telephone number for the resident. I don't know why I didn't ask for that. I don't have it. So the lady who saw me early this morning and who told me of the flow line being down in the area I just mentioned, please, if you could give us a call here and ask for Miss Anna K. Levy and share the information with her so we can pass it on to Flo so they can look at it. Big up, Flo. 8631. Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon, Mr. Shields.
Hi. How are you?
Not bad at all,
Good. Who is this?
This is Frank.
Yes, Frank from Virginia. I thought so. Yes.
Yes.
Good to hear you.
I really enjoy that X and Y, Yes.
You think I should remain the executive director of this association?
Say that again?
You think I should remain the executive director of the PUS Association, PA?
I think you do an excellent job anywhere they put you.
You see, Emily Crooks. Yeah? Emily Shields Nay Crooks, the head of the PUS Association. You think that will sound good?
Go there, yeah.
Go there or go down there?
Go down there.
Like us spice.
But I don't about go down there, no. I have that to talk about Miss Lucy. But let me start with the hopscotch there. The one of the tricks in the hopscotch, Yes, when I reach the last double boxes, I think you have to turn, you have to jump and turn.
And spin your roll?
Because remember, you have to go back down, don't it?
I don't remember this. And spin your roll?
I think so.
I think you have to turn in the box. That's true, Frank. Come to think of it.
Yes, but you have to make sure you don't mash the line.
Oh, well.
When you turn, it's kind of easy to mash the line, and that's when you're out. I think that's when you're out.
Well, may I have to go practice this weekend?
Yeah, that's one of the exciting part of the hopscotch match. No, the preacher man, Daniel, did it so good. But I guess it's a slightly different way in the sermon. Man was preaching, and him suddenly, when I see the person suddenly change the topic and then say, you have to he started preaching the commandments now. So him say, him the one that say, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, thy neighbor's ass, even thy neighbor's spouse.
Oh, you heard that version?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, man, it's sermon, man. But she was watching the so that doesn't prepare the food and things like that.
Yes.
No. Miss Lucy, she first of all, do you know that Miss Lucy can speak Queen's English?
I'm sure.
Yeah, one day, a couple years ago, she called Mr. Mullins, and Mr. Mullins couldn't recognize who it was for the first 10 or so seconds. Miss Lucy was talking like a person who do tertiary education.
So why you think when she talk the way she talk, it not sound like somebody who do tertiary education now?
No, I'm telling you that she's a very intelligent woman. and she knows proper English and so on. And he couldn't understand, and didn't pick up her voice and didn't pick up because she was talking like that. So she just want to, she's a good, she's good at drama. You know, you know, so you ask her one day to talk some,
I enjoy what she delivers the thing in that I wouldn't even ask her to go take on the second language. English is a second language to many of us, you know.
Yeah, man, she's good at it, man. So now, but we believe that she just talk, you know, I can't see she talk bad, but her talk bad. You know, that's what she said this man, but it's not talk bad, it's talking real Jamaican talk.
It's not real Jamaican, it's another language. It's a
Yeah,
completely different language. All you go to court in some countries, they have to have people come transcribe for a language in English or in their language, and I think people need to appreciate that and feel good about our ability to talk. Sometimes when I'm in some foreign places with my family members, I'm in one, nobody if know me talk say, it's not gypsy me use, it's Jamaican Creole.
Right, and the foreigners love it, you know.
Yes.
They love it very much, you know. I get it. That.
But look here, it's good to hear you, Frank. Have yourself a great weekend.
Yeah, can I have 10 seconds?
Yes.
Yes, she got on the thing with the cellular this morning.
Me miss the cellular completely.
Another thing that you do pick up.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but what I pick up on, like she used to say, dong de.
Yeah.
She do say dong de.
What she say?
D-U-N, dong de. Listen carefully next time. Like I said, I could be wrong.
All right. Go down there. Thank you, Frank. I forgot to play Spice. Go down there. 2178. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hi. How are you?
Not bad. How are you, Miss Emily?
Very well, thank you. Who is this?
This is Sandra.
Welcome, Miss Sandra.
Thank you. I heard you mention Flo a while ago, and I just wanted to tell you what happened to me with Flo. So I have Flo service, and I'm still in the Constant Spring area like you were mentioning. So my service went down from about 3rd December, and I called them till I tired. Anyway, they eventually came about the 15th of December, and they semi-fixed the thing, because when I got home, the cable system was just dancing, no pictures. So I called them again, and eventually they sent me a message the 10th of January to say that they're scheduling a technician. This is from the 15th of December. So I called them back and I said, all right, can I get a rebate since I had no service for December? The young lady said I should have called on the 15th when the gentleman came and attempted to fix the service. So I said to her, I didn't know that, so I'm calling you now. She said, no, that's not how it works. I can't get a rebate because I didn't call that day. So I said, on your system, are you seeing that I didn't have service? She said, yes. I said, are you seeing that it's still not fixed? She said, yes. I said, why can't I get a rebate?
Yes.
She said, the time has passed.
What?
So I didn't believe her. So I called again this week. I actually was texting a Noah that they have on their system.
A what?
Noah told me, the automated machine.
Okay.
You type in and you can actually get a live agent to text you back. And his name is Noah. And Noah said to me, because I said the same thing that I'm telling you. And Noah said that the time has passed. I can't get a rebate, even though on their system they're seeing that I did not have any service.
Wow. I'm gonna ask for your number because hopefully they'll ask for it so we can see what justice can come out of it. And they need to change this person from Noah maybe to Seth or Japheth.
I don't know. I was shocked.
No one arguing nothing.
Yes, I not get a rebate even though I have no system.
Yes. All right. Hold on, Sandra. Hold on. Let's see, because they're listening. Let's see if they can remedy this. I'm out of time for today. Thank you so much to my producer, Anna K. Levy.